does that mean that relations between you and Sheila Dikshit have broken down?
No. We have got a great equation. So I was quite surprised that she said all that.
Hurt? Were you hurt?
No, I don't get hurt. I'm now after all the attacks, I'm quite thick-skinned.
But you were angry. You felt let down.
I don't have much feelings anymore. I've done a good job, and now onwards I won't keep quiet if anybody speaks like that.
If now onwards if someone targets you, you will respond.
I will respond. That's right.
Do you believe that, in a sense, the part of the problem is that there were too many cooks in this Commonwealth broth? There was the sports minister, there were the various civic authorities, there was the OC. Had this been a more coordinated effort, it could have been even more successful, particularly in the build-up. For example, the Commonwealth Games village, which attracted so much of flack, was ready at the last minute. Do you believe that that the problem there was the multiplicity of authorities? Too many authorities, too many cooks spoiled the Commonwealth broth, with no one eventually being held accountable.
No, I don't think so. I think we worked great as a team. It was Team India. Everybody played his role, and under the direction of the Prime Minister set up a group of ministers under Jaipal Reddy, which did a great job. It acted as a buffer for everybody. Anybody had anything to say, he would coordinate the entire event. And the sports minister also, Dr. Gill, did a good job, and he has created great infrastructure, and he's coordinated also to quite an extent. Mrs. Khullar, who's Secretary of Sports, helped us a lot.
You're being a good diplomat, as you were in your last closing ceremony speech, where you tried to take everyone along. But during the build-up to the games, was everyone working in different directions?
No, I'm telling you, everybody worked as a team. Otherwise, how could you have got the best Commonwealth Games ever? You just mentioned that it couldn't have been better. It couldn't have been better. I mean, it was a flawless Commonwealth Games. It was flawless. Everything went to time. The organizing of the games also, it was all on time. People were quite surprised that we did it all. And coming to the Games Village, let me tell you, people have loved the Games Village. They said it's the best Games Village they've ever been to. And I told you for many months that it's going to be a great Games Village, better than the Beijing Games Village, better than the
So you're now convinced that it was a better Games Village than Beijing?
Definitely, yeah. But temporarily we did go into a bit of a problem because...
No, it was a serious problem, Mr. Kalmadi. What is it that prevented you from having the Games Village ready much in advance? Was it, who do you hold? Because Sheila Dikshit today is virtually taking credit that in the last 1 week, once she got into it, the Games Village got right.
Let me tell you that there was a dispute between the builder and the contractor, and that's why the Games Village was delayed. And anyway, that doesn't come under my responsibility. My responsibility was organizing the Games Village once it's handed over to me. I have to get all the infrastructure handed over to me 6 months before the games, which didn't happen in most of the infrastructure. I have to do the overlays. I have to do so many other things which I have to do in the field of play. So since things were handed over to me late, I had problems, but we delivered. And yes, under the overall direction of the Cabinet Secretary, Sheila Dikshit did play a role last 1 week, 2 weeks. We needed help last 2 weeks, and they gave us help last 2 weeks.
No, in that sense, this was you won the bid in 2003. Couldn't all this have been done earlier? I mean, isn't that the biggest lesson that we've learned? That we have become a last-minute jugadu society. That the same thing, the same successful games that you threw up, could have been prepared much in advance, rather than at the last minute.
See, we got world-class infrastructure which was prepared well on time. Now the Games Village was the only where there's a reason. The contractor and the builder had a problem, but because of that things were delayed. But anyway, all's well that ends well. People have loved the Games Village. You should see the amount of comments which have been written by the athletes. They said they felt great and they didn't want to leave the Games Village. Even when the Games Village was being built, I offered them whether you'd like to stay in a hotel, but none of them wanted to go to a hotel. They said, no, this Games Village is fine, even at the worst of time.
One of the problems with the games, while it was successful in many ways, was ticketing. And there was a serious crisis. There were, if you went onto your website, it was said, no seats available. But when you went to the stadia, there were lots of empty seats. Did you get the ticketing wrong? You might have been better off outsourcing it, giving it to a private agency. Might have been better off privatizing most of these Commonwealth Games. These Commonwealth Games should have been privatized.
Let me tell you that even in ticketing, we had given to the IRTC, which is the Indian Railways department, for they were making the tickets, they were selling it from the counter.
Another government department. You know, you could have your opening ceremony was outsourced to a private agency. It worked, to an event manager. Even ticketing could have been given to private companies, more professional companies. What went wrong with ticketing?
Rajdeep, you know, I have to work in a particular system. We tender out everything. Nothing we have done without tendering out, and we do global tenders. And when they come up, whoever is qualified in that, there is an executive board which takes a decision on that. And the decision was on the companies which have done a reasonably good job in the past and who are lower in rates. So we have gone through the entire process like that. So
what went wrong with the ticketing?
Well, there was so much of demand, and see, worldwide, first 2-3 days you don't expect stadiums to fill up. It never gets filled up anywhere, whether we saw in Athens or whether we saw in Melbourne. First 2-3 days the games have to pick up. But after that, once our Indians started winning medals, all the stadiums are full except for 1 or 2, which we don't say lawn bowls. People are not interested in lawn bowls. But even rugby, surprisingly, the whole stadium was full.
Mr. Kalmadi, the government has said that the CAG and CBC will go through all the contracts. Does that suggest a lack of confidence in the manner in which the games were conducted? That all contracts will have to be gone through?
No, you see, I don't have too many contracts in the organizing committee. But whoever has signed all the contracts with everybody else must go through it. Why not?
There are two sides to this problem. One is the civic works, and then there is the sporting infrastructure and the games overlays. Civic works have to be answered by the UD department, by the Delhi government. Sporting infrastructure and games overlays are your responsibility.
Not sporting infrastructure, please.
Games overlays.
Yeah, overlays, yes, but all the buildings, etc., construction is somebody else's altogether.
So you say
1,600 crores, you can't do all that.
So Suresh Kalmadi is saying, as far as anything which goes into the construction of the games, you have had nothing to do with it at any stage.
Not at all.
At any stage. So anyone has to answer questions of construction, whether it was that foot over bridge which collapsed, will be those departments, not the organizing committee.
Yeah. But I mean, I was getting blamed for all these things, but I kept quiet. I didn't pass on the blame. But it's not my responsibility.
It is not your responsibility, sir. But
even the games village was late. It's not my responsibility.
So overlays.
I am only responsible after it's handed over to me.
Yes,
after handed over to me, which in an unready condition.
The overlay contracts, the tenders that were given, the charge is that they were often given to the highest bidder, not the lowest bidder. That's the one charge, that is the one specific charge that comes again and again to haunt you.
No, I mean, there's an inquiry now, so why is the travel media? We'll answer all that. And there's an executive board which has approved everything. And the executive board has government officers, I mentioned that. So it's all approved. It's not a thing which is
so when there
it's not a decision which only Suresh Kalmadi has taken.
Point taken. But when reports come in that lawn bowls, stopwatches, timers, in all these cases the contracts were given to the highest bidder, not the lowest bidder, how do you respond to that?
Let's see, I'll respond to the CVC or whoever is asking us. We've got points. You see, we have to go to those people who have done before in the Commonwealth Games or Asian Games or in the Olympics. We have to choose from among them. So all the due procedure was taken.
Because there is a feeling that at the end of the day, the Commonwealth Games involve taxpayers' money. And
I agree with Rajdeep. All that, that's why we're going through all these probes. I welcome the probe. So let everything come out.
How do you respond to those who say, sir, because it is taxpayers' money, therefore Mr. Kalmadi should have been even more careful? That there should have been, or all those.
I am more careful for my 1,600 crores, but I can't be for the 1,000 crores which are outside the 1,600 crores.
Are you therefore assuring the country that these 1,600 crores, because now reports indicate that you, out the 1,600 crores, your profit, you're not making any profit. In fact, you have made a loss. Your total money that you earned is 650 crores. You had to spend 1,600 crores. The balance will have to be paid by the government of India, by the Indian taxpayer. Do you believe that as far as your expenses go, nothing was done in the expenses that the OC had, which was a waste of the taxpayers' money?
Definitely. We're ready for any probe, I have said that. And everything will be accounted.
But aren't you disappointed, sir, that only 650 crores are made? Because Melbourne, for example, was a profitable games. They actually made more money than they invested. We have actually made less money than the amount that you actually put in. Now, you're a businessman, so in that sense, don't you feel that it's the taxpayer who will have to pay the burden?
Let me tell you that the first 900 crores which we received, we had collected about 700 crores by that time. But when the whole media started saying that these games won't happen, when everybody starts saying that there's something wrong with the game, definitely people are not coming forward in the same way as they were coming out earlier. So that's it.
Are you saying that that's what led, that because of the media, the negative image, that's why you couldn't earn the kind of money that you would have liked?
Definitely. People who were ready to go, public sector, let me say, public sector backed out because a letter went out from the Ministry of Public Sector saying don't invest in the games. Otherwise, we are getting big amounts from the public sector.
So isn't that...
But I must tell you that Mamata Banerjee stuck to her word. She said she'll give 100 crores from the railways, and she did give 100 crores as lead partner.